Skateboards. Skateboards evolved from homemade scooters, in which the wheels from an old pair of metal skates were nailed to a 2x4 board. In front, the contraption had a wooden box with handles for steering and control. But some kids wanted no part of the box. They removed it and rode just the board. A new sport had begun. In the late 1950s, the surfing craze hit the United States, especially California. When the waves were dead, kids went sidewalk surfing instead. Kids began to make changes in the boards. To get a better ride, they used wider, flatter, stronger wooden planks. As for the wheels, they switched from metal to clay, a hard synthetic composite. They also changed the trucks, the devices that hold the wheels, to make them more maneuverable. By the 1960s, skateboarding had a huge following, especially among California surfers. Then, a man named Larry Stevenson, the publisher of Surf Guide magazine, began promoting sidewalk surfing. Skateboarding started taking off. It got another big boost when Larry's company, Makaha, began making and selling the first ever custom crafted boards. In 1963, the first skateboarding contest was held at Pier Avenue Junior School in Hermosa Beach, California. The following year, the Vita Packed Juice Company and legendary surfer Hobie Alter joined to create Hobie Skateboards. Most kids were happy just to travel the streets and sidewalks, but others developed all kinds of tricks and stunts. The really skilled riders took the sport to a whole new level, usually in dry aqueducts or empty swimming pools. Suddenly, kids were skating vertically as well as horizontally. By early 1965, there were international contests, cross-country skateboarding teams, and even a movie about the sport, Skater Dater. More than 50 million skateboards have been sold, but then the industry crashed. It was all because of the wheels. The clay wheels didn't have enough traction, enough grip on the pavement. Boarders fell, sometimes seriously hurting themselves or pedestrians. Signs went up in malls, parks, and other places forbidding skateboarding. Sidewalk surfing went underground for a while. Only the most dedicated skateboarders kept the sport alive. During this time, Larry Stevenson perfected the kicktail. Among other things, it enabled skateboarders to simply kick down on the raised back, the tail, to make the board flip up into the skateboarder's hands. In 1970, surfer and skateboarder Frank Nosworthy had an idea. He visited a plastics factory where roller skate wheels were made. He found just what he wanted: polyurethane wheels. They fit perfectly on his skateboard, and when he tried them out, he was elated. They gave a wonderfully smooth ride. Why? Because polyurethane wheels are softer and actually flatten as they touch the sidewalk, giving them far better traction. In 1973, Frank introduced his new boards, calling them Cadillac wheels. At first, there was some resistance, especially from veteran skateboarders. But it wasn't long before everybody could see how superior polyurethane was to clay. Then, in 1975, the Road Rider Company improved the wheels even further by adding precision ball bearings to reduce friction and increase speed. In 1976, the first skate park for skateboarders was built in Florida, and soon they were popping up all across the country. Since its beginning, some people have predicted, even demanded, an end to skateboarding. In the 1980s, skateboarding's popularity crashed again. Skateboard related injuries caused cities around the country to again ban skateboarding in public places. In 1984, launch ramps became popular. So too did special shoes and clothing for boarders, including pads and helmets for safety. Soon, downhill racing on skateboards added a whole new dimension to the sport. The equipment and level of skill continued to improve. By the 1990s, the sport was back, more popular than ever. According to recent statistics, skateboarding is the sixth largest participant sport in the United States. Today, there are nearly 7 million skateboarders in the country. The most famous is Tony Hawk. No one did more to popularize and revolutionize the sport. At the age of 9, on a hand-me-down board, he discovered a passion for sidewalk surfing and was soon performing far beyond his years. By the age of 12, he was winning amateur contests. By 14, he turned pro. And by 16, he was considered the best skateboarder of all time. Not content to rest on his laurels, Tony traveled the world over the next few years, skating in contests and putting on demonstrations, exposing tens of thousands to the new sport. Soon, he had launched his own skateboard company, Birdhouse Projects, and Pro Skater video games. He also established the Tony Hawk Foundation, through which he has donated more than $4 million to help finance over 500 public skate parks, most of them in impoverished areas of American cities. Fun facts. Almost half of all the skateboarders in the United States live in California. In Norway, skateboarding is illegal. Back in the 1950s, skateboarding tricks were different from those of today. Called freestyle, it looked almost like ballet dancing on a zooming board. Jan and Dean's song, Sidewalk Surfing, further popularized the sport in 1964. In 1978, skater Alan Ollie Gelfand invented a tricky maneuver that changed boarding forever. By stomping his back foot down on the tail of the kickboard, he flipped the board into the air and jumped on it at the same time. The trick is named the Ollie in his honor.